If the timer on your wrist ever starts counting down, don't look for a pause button. Run, because when it hits 0, the room decides whether you breathe again. Those are the first words I wish someone had whispered before I volunteered for the test. But warnings never travel faster than curiosity. And curiosity pays double when your student loan company attaches weights to your dreams. Raymond Biodyne Laboratories advertised. Simple cognitive trials, $15,000 per night. Posted on my campus job board like a golden ticket. No mention of non-disclosure clauses longer than phone books. No hint that you'd leave with memories that twitch in your bones. I signed anyway, because 26 grand in debt feels like drowning with bricks in your pockets. We rode a private shuttle 3 hours north, through pine forests shivering under February rain. The driver, silent as a mannequin, wore mirrored sunglasses long after sunset. Beside me sat 9 other volunteers. Grad school casualties, gig economy ghosts. One middle-aged woman in a thrift store blazer, tapping a rosary on her knee. Our collective mood was half optimism, half unsaid dread. Strangers about to share the same weird dream. Biodyne's complex resembled an art museum crossed with a bunker. Glass cubes inset into sod-covered concrete. 0 exterior signage. Security scanned our retinas, confiscated our phones, and ushered us into a circular lobby beneath a skylight that reflected nothing but darkness. A receptionist in white scrubs offered chamomile tea to centre the mind, as she said. Her badge said Dahlia, no surname. I declined the tea, trusting nothing free tonight. Dr. North emerged, willowy, her hair silver at the temples, her smile laminated. "Thank you for participating in Trial 37B, she said, voice as warm as honey. Your role is simple. Complete a 2-hour sequence of tasks, and you may go home with compensation. The test is self-guided. Staff will observe remotely." "What kind of tasks?" I asked. Dr. North's smile stayed fixed. "Your adaptability will shape the experience, Mr. Reyes. Remain calm. Proceed one room at a time. Above all, watch the timer." She distributed black wristbands the size of smartwatches. A single glowing display set at 2 hours exactly. "When the light turns green, your session begins." The lobby split into 10 steel doors, each assigned to a volunteer. Mine bore the number 7. I strapped the band. It tightened until my pulse thrummed through the casing. A green light came on without ceremony. The timer started to count down. With that, my door hissed. Inside, room 1 was a featureless cube, lit by fluorescent tubes. A floor drain winked under the glare. On a pedestal waited a single envelope, labelled Instructions 1. In trepidation, I opened it. It read, Task 1. Choose. Option A. Press the red button and receive $500 instantly. Option B. Press the black button and increase your final payout by 50%, but forfeit any breaks. Beside the pedestal sat 2 plastic buttons on a box, red and black. Easy greed, versus patience for profit. I'd survived triple shifts at a warehouse. Breaks were luxury anyway. I slapped the black button. My timer skipped ahead. 5 minutes were gone. As if any reward deducted minutes. A hatch opened to room 2. I'd expected puzzles, maybe memory tests, but room 2 held only a chair facing a mirror. Another envelope waited on the seat. Instructions 2. I couldn't help myself but read on. Task 2. Observe. Stare into the mirror until the reflection blinks independently. Confirm by raising your hand when it happens. Strange, but not terrifying. I sat, my gaze fixed. My reflected self looked tired, my 5 o'clock shadow darker under fluorescent light. Seconds dragged, but the timer was still counting down. I fought blinking with every fibre of my being. Suddenly, my reflection smiled before I did. A small asymmetry, quick as a camera shutter. Instinct flared within me. Fight or flight, triggered by movements that I couldn't quite explain. I forced my own mouth to be motionless. My heart slam dancing in my chest. In the glass, he, or it, raised a hand first. I felt my skin prickle from head to toe. I lifted mine in acknowledgement. The mirror went black like a screen switched off, and the door unlocked. Room 3. This one was cooler and smelled of bleach. In the centre of the room, a hospital gurney with leather restraints and another envelope. Instructions 3. As with the others, I started to read. Task 3. Trust. Lie down. Secure restraints. Close eyes until door opens. Alarm will buzz if restraints are not tight enough. Timer will incur penalty. I almost bailed, but the contract threatened forfeiture of all pay if I quit mid-trial. The debt looming over me growled like a banshee. I lay on the vinyl, strapped my wrists and ankles. When the final buckle clicked, the door sealed with a pneumatic suck. Fluorescence darkened to a cool glow. Time continued to march on. I had 90 minutes left. The air pressure shifted. Something wheeled closer, the squeal of rubber casters. Fingers, they were gloved. They probed my scalp softly, parting my hair. There was the unmistakable smell of a hospital, but beneath it, a copper whiff. It took me back to when I had nosebleeds as a child. It had to be blood. Clamps pinched my earlobes, and I felt cold paste smearing my temples. A scan of some sorts, maybe. The unseen clinician hummed a lullaby off-key. Could be Dr. North. Could be anyone. Then, a whispered question tickled my ear. Do you regret the black button? I opened my eyes. Darkness greeted me. No, I responded. The whisper withdrew. Remember your answer. I could hear footsteps receding. The door clanged open and the lights came back up. All of a sudden, the restraints auto-released. I glanced at my watch. An hour and 28 minutes to go. Room 4 held 9 doors, labelled with the volunteers' numbers, including my own. In the centre of the room was a digital wheel of fortune The segments reading plus 10 minutes, minus 15 minutes, double, transfer, lockout. There was an envelope at its base. Instructions 4. Spin once. Below in small print, time transfers or penalties affect a randomly chosen participant. I didn't have a choice. I had to see this through. I spun. The wheel clicked, slowed, and landed on transfer plus 20. The display on my wristband jumped to 1 hour 48 minutes. Somewhere, another volunteer lost those 20 minutes. A new path opened to room 7. Wait. The plaque actually read, Room Reyes. I stepped through and froze. To my absolute amazement, it was my college bedroom, recreated in perfect detail. Posters. The linen with a coffee stain shaped like Africa. My guitar missing a string. A figure sat at the desk. Maya, my ex that I'd ghosted in senior year. She turned, eyes bright with recognition, then sadness. A final envelope waited in her lap. She offered it. With my hands trembling, I unfolded it. Task 5. Apologize. Speak truth in exchange for time. Lie and lose double. Maya, My voice cracked. I admitted the cowardice. How fear of failing post-graduation drove me to disappear. Warm tears blurred her form. She nodded, gently smiling. The timer climbed 3 minutes. 1 hour and 51. The scene dissolved like smoke, the furniture folding into walls, leaving a sterile white. The door ahead read, Observation. Inside, all 9 volunteers stood on platforms beneath spotlight cones, each behind soundproof glass. Wrist timers glowed above them. Some showed red, nearing 0, others green. My display on the overhead read 1 hour and 49 minutes. They saw me too. A PA crackled. Contestants, welcome to the redistribution round. The highest time may donate minutes to the lowest. Failure to agree within 2 minutes eliminates all. I suddenly felt like I couldn't breathe, because now I led the board. Platform 2, Rosary Lady, flashed 15 minutes. She was clearly terrified. Platform 9, a bearded hipster, held 17 minutes. Others hovered near a minute. I understood. If their timers hit 0, the room would kill them. A keypad rose from my podium. Enter minutes to share. I tapped 30 minutes, swallowing my fear. That left me 1 hour and 19. There was an announcement over the PA. Participant 7 donates. Allocation equal. Rosary Lady's eyes shimmered with gratitude. A gong sounded. Partitions dropped, merging us into a common chamber. I expected relief. Instead, new text scrolled on the walls. Combine now. Last 5 standing proceed. Timer resumes. Uneven shapes emerged from the ceiling. Metal panels descending, recessing into a giant labyrinth. Cooperation flipped to competition instantly. We sprinted. Platforms rolled aside, revealing corridors with flickering strobes. I stuck near Rosary Lady, whose name tag read Mrs. Petrova. "Stay together," I urged. She clutched my arm, whispering prayers. The bearded hipster shoved past, knocking Petrova to the floor. Her timer clipped a wall sensor, and she lost 30 seconds. She had 40 minutes remaining. The hipster's laugh echoed. Karma arrived quick. A ceiling piston crushed him into a pit when his timer dipped to 5 minutes. Lab-coated drones retrieved nothing but crimson steam. Panicked screams retreated behind me as contestants continued to disappear. My timer bled down. Every wrong turn cost me seconds via motion sensors. I shouted encouragement to Petrova, splitting hallways to hit switches that extended her time at the cost of mine. She regained a minute. I slipped to 35. In the final clearing, 5 volunteers remained. The walls displayed the next phase. Choose one to sacrifice. Bonus, +10 for each survivor. No vote means all fail. We stared at each other in silence. A scruffy teen, Kyle, timer at 18 minutes. An older guy, Marcus, 22. Me at 35. Petrova at an hour and 5 minutes. And a silent woman, Naomi, at 28. Debate erupted. Kyle sobbed. "I'm only 18. Marcus countered. "He's lowest anyway." Naomi offered 0 words. She simply pointed at me. Maybe because I once led the board. Petrova thrust her rosary between us. "I refuse. We mustn't become murderers." The walls pulsed a warning. 10 seconds to a decision. A tablet slid from the ceiling, requesting the fingerprint of our chosen sacrifice. Marcus lunged for Kyle. In the scuffle, Naomi shoved Marcus towards the tablet just as the countdown hit 3. His print registered unwillingly. A siren shrieked. The floor retracted below Marcus, and he plummeted into darkness, his screams cut short by a wet crunch. 10 minutes were added to the survivor's time. Mine was now 45 minutes. Horror etched deeper lines into us. The loudspeaker returned. "Congratulations. The final phase begins. 2 doors ahead. 1 leads to payout. 1 to null. Use your minutes wisely." We stumbled to the corridor with twin blast doors labelled A and B. A digital clock started. Our individual timers were now merged into a communal pool. Our screens mirrored a collective 2.5 hours. Robbed of separate fates, we'd live or die together. Above the doors flashed riddles, alternating every 5 seconds. An open ear, an empty head. In silent fields, I make my bed. And a second. Break me, I shatter not. Hold me, I spill a lot. We puzzled. I recognized the first. Corn, maybe? But the second, maybe water? It didn't make sense. Naomi paced up and down, biting her lip. Kyle hyperventilated. Petrova prayed. I studied the door frames. There were microscopic vents at the base of A, but none on B. I recalled the whispered question from earlier. Remember your answer, referring to regret. I'd said no. But perhaps honesty was valued here. Could the first riddle actually be corn? Ears, fields. Corn is used in making ethanol, flammable. Vents could pump gas. I pressed myself hard for the answer to the second riddle. Silence? No. A glass of water? Break me, I shatter not. A secret? I couldn't make head or tail of it. Suddenly, my memory clicked into place. In the earlier mirror task, the reflection acted first. Illusions break reality. With that, I could feel my mind warping from the stress. I was just saying nonsensical words now. We were approaching 30 minutes. Naomi grabbed Kyle and yanked him towards door B. Petrova resisted. The shouting escalated. I saw hidden cameras blinking behind the walls. I got desperate after a while. The time was running out. We had to choose. I voted door A, concluding that the vents likely released some sort of sedation for a safe exit. Naomi scoffed. 5 minutes left. I sprinted to door A, punching the override. Petrova followed. Naomi dragged Kyle to B. The doors sealed as the timer hit 0. Darkness engulfed us. All of a sudden, a gas hissed through the air, and I blacked out. I awoke in a hospital wing, with an IV drip in my arm. Dr. North greeted me, congratulating my successful completion. Petrova lay nearby, alive. Naomi and Kyle, they weren't anywhere to be seen. I got the payment as soon as I was released. But weeks later, guilt gnawed at me. I tracked down Naomi's social media. Dead silence. Kyle's obituary surfaced. He was presumed dead after disappearing into thin air. I visited Petrova. She had constant nightmares of cornfields. Tonight, I found a package at my door. A black wristband timer set at 30 minutes with a note inside. You passed orientation. The real test begins now. No doors required. The timer then began counting down. My apartment door locked itself. The ventilation kicked on. No one told me the rules, because there are none. Only escalating phases until survival turns into compliance. Volunteering was never about earning money. It was all some kind of sick experiment to see what people will really do under pressure, when your life is at the mercy of a ticking clock. I've got 30 seconds left. If this recording reaches you, beware of any advertisements that sound too good to be true. You may just find that it costs you your life. Macabre Horror here. I hope you enjoyed this horror story from a very talented author. Thanks so much for listening and supporting the channel. I'd appreciate if you could leave a comment below, as I love to hear from you all, and I'd appreciate if you can like and share, as that really helps as well. If you want more scary stories, check out the video or the playlist on screen.